What up? What up, everybody? Welcome, welcome to the first episode of Comic Books and Nerds Rebirth. See what I did there?
Wow.
Right?
Did someone say peanut?
I can't get to him right now. Otherwise, I would. I'd show you
How
mine.
do you have your pops? How do you keep your pops? I want to see this.
Right now, they are currently sitting in 2 boxes right over there, and then there's some in this cabinet next to me, and then there's a giant stack of them right here next to me.
See the stack.
I'm actually kind of ashamed to show the stack right now, okay?
Oh, you can show the stack. I'll show you.
Alright, this is just the minimal stack.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Alright, hold on. I haven't even showed you the cabinet yet. Hold on. I will show you the cabinet. Oh! That's the cabinet.
That's the cabinet.
Packed full. Okay. Aura, baby. Go. Close the door on the way out. Go.
Those
Go.
are the comics.
Close the door.
I have the family. How do I have the family here.
Mm-hmm.
Julia. I have some of the chased ones that I happen to have, just the miscellaneous ones. That Earth 1 Batman is pretty cool. I have Atlas and Peabody.
I have Chell.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
And then here is where it gets ridiculous a little bit. I have more in storage, but these are some of the main ones. A lot of my gaming ones. There's that Cade 6 that Kelly rubbed in my face forever till I finally got it.
Yeah. Don't worry, soon I'll have Shax and Zavala. I'm at Ikora, and you have Zavala.
Yep. And then
Yep.
I just love this Hellboy pop I got.
They know with that. Currently, out of box, I currently have Almighty. And he is just the coolest friggin' pop. I love him.
These two are awesome. This is the Dark Knight Returns Superman and Batman.
Yeah.
And they're both kind of old. You see all the stretch marks on his face.
Yeah.
Reinhardt. This is the portal gun.
I got Reinhardt right here. He's out. But I do, sitting on my desk, I have Ash Williams from The Evil Dead. Hail to the king, baby. Groovy. And I have this little statue of Cade that I got for pre-ordering Destiny 2 from old GameStop.
GS.
Yeah. From the old GS.
Wow. Winston.
Dude.
Tight.
He is completely and utterly adorable, though. And then...
Oh, it comes with the pack.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And then I have Facehugger Rick.
This is personally my favorite.
Oh, the ship?
Yeah, the ship.
The ship is pretty cool.
Alright.
So, now that we've talked... We're going to talk periodically a lot about pops as we go along. There is some things we'd like to, cover on them. But today, we're just kind of reestablishing the show and going from there. So, this is, once again, Comic Books and Nerds, Rebirth, Episode 1. Yeah, 1.
Yeah,
kind
we
of.
tried it a couple times. Didn't really... There were some prequels.
There were some prequel episodes. You guys can check it out on my YouTube and watch it there if you feel so motivated. If not, you guys can watch the VOD of this on Twitch, and I will be pulling it over to YouTube here eventually. So yeah, I have to remember not to go all the time, man. It's been a while since I've actually done a podcast.
Yeah, sometimes you sound like Rick. That's okay.
God damn it, Morty! Just stop interrupting me, Morty.
I'm gonna need to stick those seeds way up your butt.
I don't know about this, Rick. This sounds like a really bad idea, Rick. I don't think I should do this. No, Rick. No. I'm not gonna stick him up the butt, Rick. This is ridiculous, Rick. What the Rick?
Is he learning anything at school? What's 2 times 9, Morty? 18. Oh my gosh, Rick, maybe I am learning with you. No, the seeds give you hyperintelligence, Morty. You're actually gonna start spasming in about a moment. It's gonna feel like you're dying. He just ends the first episode seizing.
It's great. I love Rick and Morty. They did a really good job with that show, and I kind of like hold a moment of shame that the fans of Rick and Morty are that stupid. Not all of them, but there's a good chunk of them that should be ashamed of themselves.
There's like the normal ones, like us, who don't, try and kill McDonald's workers for not having Szechuan sauce.
That was the dumbest thing I'd ever seen in my life. So, anyways, let's get right into it. Alter Cabron.
It is good. Kelly told me to watch it, just like Kelly told me to buy the Funko Pops and read comic books. I watched it. I think I ordered the book the day after I binged it. The book's better.
Actually, I like them both in their own right.
I love Poe over Hendrix.
I do love Poe over Hendrix. Hendrix does not have nearly as much personality as Poe does, and also not as big of a part in the story as Poe does. But at the same time, they both have their benefits of being in the story, We're not done with the books yet. I'm about 10 chapters?
5 or 6 chapters in, so you're a little further, but I don't really care about spoilers.
The torture sequence, I got past the torture sequence and him killing everybody in the facility. Oh, he kills everybody. In the show, he kills everybody. He shoots the shit out of everybody. He blows their stacks out. He walks around pissed off. He finds the person responsible, kills him. I mean, he is just, after all of that, he is just, every motherfucker in here is gonna die.
The way that they find him, the way that, what's his character's name in the book? The, black guy, I forgot his name. But when he's like, where is he? And just the explosion and Kovac walks out, bloodied in his suit with his pink, little unicorn, right?
Yeah, a knockoff.
And just that Destiny 2 hand cannon that he has.
It's a big ass gun. Yeah, in the episode, that part was pretty freaking awesome. In the book, it's he literally, the description of him leaving the area is exactly how he walks out in the book, in the show. It's like he walks out like there's nothing else going on. Like it's a fucking Tuesday. He's walking out of the store. Yeah. And the cops see him in the satellite in the book, and they're like, "You walking out there like you're the big man on campus?" And he's like, "So."
And the thing that makes it so good is Altered Carbon raises this major question, this moral, this kind of ethical one. And of course, Catholics have a problem with it and stuff, in the show and stuff, which they would. I mean, that's just their values. And it's good. Would you want your brain uploaded on a stack, and would you want bodies just to become literally sleeves? Just the name demeans them. This is just a sleeve.
Yeah.
Unless you get RD'd, then
that's it.
That's real death. If your stack gets damaged and you're not uploading that stack constantly, then you're dead. And most people don't have the money.
No. Most people don't have the money to make backups of themselves, so that way if something does happen to their stack, they can just restart from the most recent backup. And then it goes into that whole question of the soul. Is your soul bound to your body or your head or stuff like that? As soon as your first sleeve dies, technically, are you just a soulless monster walking around? And there's a whole lot of interesting, weird questions that they can bring up into that. And the show addresses it a little bit, but they don't dive into it because that's not the important part of the show. It is basically about Takeshi trying to figure out who killed Bancroft.
Mm-hmm. Now, how did you like Bancroft versus the show and the book? Now, I thought he's 10 times more of a d-bag in the book just because he has a pony.
Well, the ponytail doesn't help his d-bagness. I mean, they both medias do a exemplary job at you know what I'm trying to say,
Words.
job of showing exactly how much of a douchebag this guy truly is.
Yeah.
And they did a great job. I mean, he in the book, he is that, upright douche, ponytail. Ha ha, I've been around for so long. I'm that much of a douche in the
satellite?
Yeah, that's mine. Same in the TV show. The actor who plays Bancroft. Oh, what is his name? Let's see. Hey, Cabron. The actor, James Purefoy. Purefoy? Yeah, James Purefoy. Absolutely amazing. Did a fantastic job at purveying how much of a douche he could be.
Now, in the book versus whatever,
The show?
Crest and the show and Raylene are kind of like stuck together, like, or not Raylene. Yeah, like.
No.
Who are the two?
It was okay. So, comparison from the book to the TV show, the what are they called? Oh God, I'm drawing the envoys are not a group of freedom fighters in the book. The envoys were actually a group of soldiers trained by the Protectorate.
Navy SEAL Protectorate.
Like badass Navy SEALs. Okay.
Their bodies have chemical upgrades. That's why they can see through walls and all that.
Sort of. They protect things. They predict behavior and actions and stuff like that. They have the extra boost of all the neurochems and so on and so forth to help them fight. But it's just all logic and learning. Like a lot of the things that you see Falconer teaching them is actually taught by the envoy training officer in the Protectorate. Falconer has actually been dead like 200 or 300 years before all even Takeshi was around.
Yeah, like Takeshi doesn't actually meet Falconer. She's just heavily referenced.
Yes, because he agrees with her stance and point on things. Raylene is actually not his sister in this book. Raylene is just is another meth that's been around for a long time that he periodically worked for here and there.
And she's kind of like just a crime boss. Like,
yeah. Nothing. Nothing huge like they made her into the TV show. But I still do appreciate the changes they made to the show from the book. So it's interesting. I don't care much for the actress that got to play Raylene. Actually, I can't stand that actress. Her face annoys me. And her acting skills are subpar at most.
It's weird that, like, the one thing that I didn't get, like, that borderline incestuous obsession with her brother. Her brother cannot love another woman.
No.
And they're not, like, romantically involved in the slightest bit. They've just been through crap together, but, like, her brother can't, like...
No.
She finds out that Falconer and him were together, and then she kills Falconer. He backs her up. Which, like, I don't know. I feel like it's weak. It's like the point that they made with Falconer being like somewhere. Okay, a person that's about to die would totally say something like that to save her own hide.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really know. I think that's a weak point, kind of. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it was like a weak excuse. Like, I have her somewhere. Don't kill me, and I'll take you to her. And then he kills her. Well, I think what they're I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to integrate the story that Falconer is in the book, because in the third book, Falconer is actually still around. She was backed up a couple hundred years ago before they killed her.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets to finally meet Takeshi. So I'm thinking what they're doing is they're going to have a season or two of him looking for Falconer, and that'll be like the mission of the next 2 seasons.
Now, Joel Kinnaman, who is Ryder's sleeve and played Talk.
Yep.
Talk is not in that sleeve anymore. Ryder at the end is like coming back to Ortega.
It's not Ryder. It's Riker.
Riker. Sorry. So who's gonna play the next Talk? We said the other night on stream that the Punisher would actually be good too.
John Berthenol would be pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. But I know he's tied up with, of course, the Punisher.
Punisher. But I think what they're going to do is, if I remember in the second book, he's actually in a Latino sleeve.
Okay.
So they're going to bounce around sleeve to sleeve to sleeve. I don't think he's ever going to make it back to Takeshi, like the original Takeshi sleeve. But I think he's going to end up bouncing around to different sleeves in order to, achieve what goal he needs. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
This is what I don't get. Did Riker have all of those neurochems?
The neurochems? Yeah, he was a cop.
He was a cop, so he just got the neurochems.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had other background, but he had neurochems in there automatically, in the book at least.
Blue pen. Blue pen.
But does that mean that... So, some of those neurochems, are some of those on the actual Envoy stack?
No, all neurochems are part of the sleeve.
But did he have that... He didn't really have that thermal vision, that orange thermal vision when he was in Ryder's sleeve, did he?
No. The whole, like...
That he died in.
The thermal vision thing isn't really... It was a way of showing the Envoy intuition. Not an actual ability. It was... He could hear the guns. He could hear them moving around. He could sense everything and predict where they put it because of the neurochems in the first scene Takeshi sleeve.
So that brings up something funny. In Douglas Adams' second book, they give elevators intuition. So that elevators can always tell where someone needs to get picked up. So there's never that tedious elevator talk when you're waiting for your elevator on your floor, right? Well, I guess the company goes overboard because these elevators are self-realizing and they realize that their existence is an elevator and can just go up and down. So all the elevators become manically depressed elevators and sulk in the basement and don't work anymore. All the elevators are like, we can't do anything. All we can do is go up and down, up and down. I
love Douglas Adams. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Who thinks like
who thinks like that?
Who thinks of that? Like, manically depressed elevators. I guarantee you, no one has ever said those words before until him.
Probably not, but you do know like the story he tells people and how he came up with the idea of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right?
How? What?
He was in some town in London, and he was trying to find a hotel, and he stopped somebody and said, "Do you guys know where the hotel was?" And the person was like, "What?" And he kept walking, and he asked another person. The person was like, and so he kept going, and he went into a bar and got a drink and headed out and kept looking for the hotel, and he kept asking people, and they were all like, what? He finally gets to the hotel, and he sees a sign that says it's a convention for the deaf. So he finds another bar, drinks, and finds an open field and lays down and stares at the sun or the stars, and comes up with the idea for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
That's freaking.
That's one of the stories I've heard. I'm not sure if it's the best, but that's a great one, you know.
I read that and I'm just like, this is the most psychedelic like it's Rick and Morty level psychedelic. Just like Rick and Morty's just like a kind of like a more explicit Hitchhiker's Guide, and that's what I love so much about it.
No, I would not compare those two, but I see what you're trying to say.
See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's just like that's the book that got me to read in the first place. That and comic books like actually got me to like tackle it or something like that, or just books in general. It, by the way, is a phenomenal book. I didn't realize how good it was.
Okay, so real quick, we're going to cover this because I just kind of want to point out the absurdity of it before we move on to another subject. There was a lot of controversy about whitewashing and altered carbon because Takeshi is an Asian man inside of a white man's body. And everybody's brought it up, and the author and the show creators and cast were like, that's actually what happens in the book. That's the actual weirdness about it, because he's actually an Asian guy, but the outside is a white guy. So he's like, oh, that's a little funny. So that's part of the duality, the tension that's in the story. I just read a quote from one of the people. Plus he added the rest of the cast is notably diverse. It is a very, very diverse cast.
Now, this is the thing for me. It's like, so you're choosing to get butthurt over something that you haven't. That is blatantly just someone not reading the source material.
No, and not understanding. Yeah, not understanding the universe. It's like there's no reason to ever be upset about what happens in the book that's not whitewashing, because your character is still an Asian man. He is just riding another sleeve, and that's it. That is all that is. He is riding another sleeve. So I think what they're doing is they're going to be changing a lot throughout the seasons, which is okay. It works.
And the thing for me is like, so for if you didn't know, Harlan's world was actually colonized by someone from Earth, a Japanese person from Earth.
Well, Japanese and
a ship came over.
Yeah, ships.
Full of people, basically, and populated that Earth.
Well, it was Scandinavian and Japanese people. That's why his last name is Kovacs.
Yes, because it has a Slavic. He says
Slavic. Thank you.
Everyone mispronounces his name with instead of the Slavic CH with a K. So people keep saying Kovacs, but
when
like
it's
Ortega
Kovacs.
says Kovacs.
Yep.
He's the only one that actually says it right.
Yeah.
At first, and I don't even think the Bancrofts say it right, who are supposed to be super smart.
No, they do, if I remember correctly.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, no, but like in the book, he's like, oh, like he's annoyed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People who take him out of cryo sleep or whatever that thing is, say that, and yeah. And then the other thing I thought interesting was the reason that they
chose that sleeve.
What?
The reason Bancroft chose the sleeve.
Oh, just to spite Ortega.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really messed up.
That's pretty fucked up.
Like that is her dead boyfriend.
Not dead, just on in storage.
Yeah, I guess dead is not really a concept in that world unless there's death that's going on.
Yep.
That's my in limbo boyfriend that I might not get back.
Yeah.
No, staring at me. And then I'm sitting there like, okay, this was so weird for me. Talk gets feelings for her, and it's mutual.
Ish.
And then like he's like, hey, I'm gonna set up your house for the real person in my sleep to come back to, and then I'm gonna leave and go find Falcon. That just seems awkward to me.
Nah, because he still loves Falconer, and if there's a chance she's out there, he's gonna go. Even if he wanted to run off with Ortega, she's still in love with Riker. So I mean, this is a fact, man. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants that storybook ending.
And the other thing about it is it's like, if he's on ice for 200 years, but I mean
250.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like 250 years.
Well, I mean, advancement takes a while. You know.
It takes longer in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just in general, advancement takes a very long time to happen for human beings. I mean, think about. Did you know that we are actually closer in time to the last period of dinosaurs than the first period of dinosaurs? There was millions and millions of years in between all those periods. We're actually closer to the Jurassic period, I believe.
That's the one that gets hit with the meteor.
Yeah, than the Cretaceous period, which so I'm pretty sure the Cretaceous period was the first one.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
I can't remember. At one point, I did know when I had to pass the test.
But if you look at like human achievements, we had a huge spurt of growth in the early 20th century. and then we slowed down. I mean, as of right now, we're not advancing technology super fast. We've actually hit kind of a plateau on technological advancement.
Well, the biggest, yeah, and I mean that can go on all scales. I mean, like right now, people are saying that because of all the cryptocurrency mining, the graphics cards prices have inflated like crazy. But
Yeah.
the other big problem is the mineral that we use to make RAM. We're running out.
Oh yeah.
So like, that's another leading reason to all these shortages. The whatever we mine to get RAM is just like we need a new option.
It's going to change. There's quantum computing coming out soon. There's
fiber optic cords that are finally. That's actually kind of an old technology.
Fiber optic, yeah.
That's how long it takes to put something into place.
Yeah, it's an old technology that we're just now starting to use. So I mean, I figure within a couple hundred years, not much has changed for Takeshi in that world. And they're probably sitting on a technological plateau as they speak also. And it's because where they got their technology from. Aliens. So, I don't know, guys. Otherwise, I think the TV show is fantastic. Check it out on Netflix. It's awesome. I highly suggest watching it. And if you want to, read the books because they are both well worth checking out. 100%. You get that Zord approve on that bitch. So, on to the next one, which is the Hellboy reboot. I saw something about it. I did not actually just... I know it's going to star Hopper from Stranger Things. I'm semi-excited to see it. I've stopped getting excited about movies and stuff recently.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'll go see it eventually, or I'll wait for it to hit, DVD.
Yeah.
But it looks interesting.
I really enjoyed the Perlman movies.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people did. I'm hearing that they're gonna do the same thing like they did with Blade Runner, or not Blade Runner. What's the movie where Ego from Guardians of the Galaxies?
Yeah.
What was his main movie that he was in? Tron.
Yeah.
And then he became the enemy in the reboot. I think they're gonna do that with Ron Perlman. I think they're gonna have Ron Perlman be the enemy and Hopper be
Hellboy.
And I mean, I'm down for that. Did you see how ripped Hopper got?
Yeah, I saw it.
Like he said, I've never really worked out in my life. And then like he pulled like a complete Chris Pratt. Like remember in The Office how tiny Chris Pratt was?
He was also kind of chunky too.
He's also kind of chunky, and then now like
he's just ripped.
He did like 2 Marine movies, and then he got all the Marvel stuff, and
that was it.
big mother trucker.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he's working out with David Bautista right now, so I don't blame him. And you look at Bautista, he's a fucking monster, man.
Yeah, maybe WWE guy. I mean, ripped.
Not anymore. I don't think he wrestles anymore. I think he's just trying to get back to trying to get into acting. And I love him as Drax.
So good.
He is so good. She's touching me. She can feel all my misery.
When I was buying Winston, I was at the comic book store, and me and Trevor, one of the cashiers there, we were talking about how sad that ending scene is when what's his face is
Yondo.
Yeah. And he's just like, God, what did he say? Oh God, it's something like, "But I'm your daddy, boy."
No, he says that might be your father,
but I'm your daddy.
But he ain't your daddy.
Yeah. And then it just gets sad.
Yeah, Yondo was really cool in that, I think.
And then that psychedelic funeral he got was just
the fireworks and everything, where all the other Reavers showed up.
Oh, what's his face? Sylvester Stallone was there.
Yep. They showed up. Yeah, no, I am I'm like I said, I'm mildly excited about how Hellboy. Like I want to see it, but not really that big.
They are doing a Hellboy comic reboot though.
Interesting.
Dark Horse has his IP, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so that'll be good.
Okay. So DC Rebirth, we're actually going to cover on the next episode because there's so much stuff going on. We're going to dedicate the entire second episode to DC, and it's going to be...
Reading to do, honestly.
Yeah.
We're not prepared yet.
We're not even remotely prepared. We have so much reading to do, so much stuff to catch up on. It's not even funny. Although this is one of my favorite ones, the Koma Doof Warrior, the Target exclusive. Look at him. Look at him.
He does look badass. Dude, I can't... This... Well, okay,
But
let's just take a moment to appreciate Clayface.
oh, he is beautiful, isn't he?
Look at him!
He is. I know.
Hefty.
He is heavy. No, I'm with you. But all I really got to say about it is, oh, what a beautiful day! Witness me!
And then he just
Face plants.
Completely fails.
Yep. Love it. Yes, I have McCree.
McCree's a good one.
He's boxed up right now.
I know you don't like the Game of Thrones show and stuff, but this one, it's I don't know. Wan. I love him. Look how many arrows he has coming out of him.
Oh yeah, I know. Now there is I did read recently. I read Ready Player One. And if you guys get a chance to sit down and read Ready Player One, it is very much worth reading. It is very, very much worth reading. And my son Toby, he got on the honor roll recently. So as a good job gift, I bought him all the Jurassic Park pops. So he's all the current Jurassic Park pops. And at work, part of the deal is buy 3 for $27, and then I get my employee discount, which is really nice. So I went ahead and got them all the pops, and then I picked out 2 more. So I was like, okay, time to get the Percival pops from Ready Player One, because the book is fantastic. We have the regular Percival, and then we have the exclusive Percival, which is transparent. I finished it last night, and I got to the last, 2 chapters, and we were going to watch a couple episodes of Dexter, and I was like, nope, gotta finish the book. Yeah, and I tore through it and finished it. It was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. He did a wonderful job. Ernest Cline, you did a fantastic job with that book. I wish there was more after the ending. I would like to see Sorrento, in jail or executed horribly in some backlot with, gun to the back of his head. And then the world taken together. Huh?
Has that movie come out yet?
Comes out at the end of this month.
Okay.
March 30th. But really, really enjoyed it. I haven't been glued to a book like that in a while. So yeah. Ready Player One's coming out at the end of the month. Gonna be packed full of all sorts of pop culture references like crazy. And I can't wait to go from there.
I saw, that trailer, I saw so much stuff in it.
There's a lot.
Another couple cool pickups. This guy,
Mm-hmm.
makes Batman. Like him very much.
Hell yeah.
And then this one is terrifying, but I love him.
You got a Hannibal Lecter. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they made him.
Yeah, and look how he's strapped to the...
Yeah, he's on the dolly.
Yeah.
So, I guess we can cover. Go ahead. The White Lantern Batman would be pretty cool.
How much is he worth?
I have no clue.
A ridiculous. There's an Emerald Batman.
Yeah, and they're selling it for like $700. It's stupid.
I couldn't spend that much money on it.
He was an Emerald City Con exclusive that you had to go to the convention to get.
Or
eBay, but I'm not paying for it on eBay. So Marvel is apparently trying to pull a Rebirth.
which is needed.
It is brutally needed. I don't know how well it's going to work for them, because at this point they just look like they're trying to follow up DC, which could be a smart thing, maybe.
See, now, comic books. Okay, so the thing about comic books with me is I got in just around Rebirth, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 full of these. Okay?
Them some rookie numbers.
This is my Marvel box. So if that doesn't describe the state of Marvel Comics, and most of this is Star Wars, not even like Marvel, not like Deadpool stuff. Most of this is Star Wars. So I mean,
Yeah.
that just about describes it for you. I mean, I was reading like Deadpool became a family man, and it was really weird for me because like he's loving, caring guy with a wife and kids, and you know he's like a team player, and I don't enjoy it. Now, Cable is, I believe last time I heard from the fellows at the comic book store, they said that Cable and Deadpool are trying to kill each other, and Cable has Deadpool's daughter hostage or something like that. So that sounds interesting. But I mean, when I gave up when Disney became, or when Deadpool became like a family man, and he had like this squad he cared about, and he was like this team leader, like, you know, Batman, and it was just, it wasn't Deadpool for me. And I try not to be a fan. I try not to be like a neckbeard like that, because I don't want to be like that. But it's like, that's not Deadpool.
No, fair enough. I can understand that. I mean, it's not. Deadpool is that asshole who runs his mouth, takes bounties, kills people for money, eats pancakes and tacos and chimichangas and all that fun stuff, and talks to us through the comics. And like I see what they were doing with the idea, but I don't think it worked out as well as they planned.
No, they need to bring back some of his older writers, honestly. I
Yeah.
mean, if his older writers are up for it, which, I mean, money's green, you know.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah. So DC and Marvel in the same universe, multiverse, apparently.
That hurt my brain.
Okay. Well, go ahead and knock this one out, man. What you got for me?
Alright, so, basically... Oh, these are not hyperlinks that I wanted them to be. I just wanted to be able to click on them. Now I have to copy and paste.
It's okay.
Show quality. Sorry, guys. Okay, here we go. So, basically, in Action Comics 998, which this is supposed to be... Kelly has we have DC divided up in what we read. Kelly's supposed to know this, but we're just both behind.
Severely behind.
I guess that,
Okay, in a joke that implies DC and Marvel Comics shares a multiverse, Booster Gold... By the way, Booster Gold is a really cool hero. I don't care what anybody says about him. I love him, especially when him and Ted Kord get into shenanigans. One of the original Blue Beetles. Fantastic stuff. Cracked an Avengers joke in yesterday's Action Comic 998. Then followed it up with a crack that he was kidding. After all, that's a whole different timeline. Joking that he could call Skeets is Booster Gold's little robot from the future that assists him. Jarvis, the name of the Avengers' butler, and in the movies, the artificial intelligence among Iron Man's suit. Booster drops the timeline joke, which throws fuel on a fire already going with some fans because in a Marvel comic last week, a slightly recolored version of DC Shazam, formerly known as Captain Marvel, appears in a page depicting alternate universe Captain Marvels. Now that is pretty fucking cool, okay? Which makes sense because lately in The Flash, they've been making Marvel jokes. Like, there was an Incredible Hulk joke, there was a Spider-Man joke in the DC universes, and it's like, is this happening? Are they making this?
and then if you scroll down a little bit, Kelly, what's it called? Alfred gets mentioned somewhere.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Okay. Let's see. People then who were already took it as an implication that Marvel's multiverse shares worlds with DC's looked at Action Comic jokes as confirmation. DC, since 2005's Infinite Crisis, has had a limited multiverse. Dozens of worlds, 52 in fact, have been accounted for, with a 53rd recently added, plus the Dark Multiverse. 2015 crossover event Convergence absently reestablished an infinite multiverse, but when the series proved less popular than hoped with fans, it seems that the fallout from the event was largely discarded. Marvel's own multiverse was destroyed and rebuilt around the same time in the Secret Worlds event.
Yep.
Marvel and DC both have popular prosthetics. One of one's another. Oh, okay. Like, they have the same heroes appearing as villains. Marvel's Evil Justice League is the Squadron Supreme, while DC's Evil Avengers are Lord Havoc and the Extremists. While the Extremists hail from another world in DC Multiverse, which was destroyed before they came, the current version of the Squadron exists in the standard Marvel Universe. I'm going to read chat for a second. Warner Brother wants Disney to buy them? What makes you say that, man? Out of curiosity. If you are in the business... Okay, so Marvel Universe. Of course, the Jarvis joke was a reference to the movies, not to the comics, and so it could be argued that Booster was referencing the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you are in the business of overthinking things, that is. And in the same way, one could argue that Gold Booster, a Time Master whose job it is to wipe out anomalous timelines created by people who mess with the timeline, would not use the word timeline imprecisely, and that the Marvel Universe is not another Earth in DC's multiverse, but rather a possible alternate version of the main DCU. While technically Marvel and DC employees generally say that the two do not share a metaphysical space, almost every crossover between the two takes for granted that they are simply different Earths separated by time and space, suggesting that actually they probably are. You know something? As a fanboy, I would love for that shit to happen. Not even gonna lie. If they dropped that Marvel and DC were alternate timelines in the same multiverse, they just couldn't see each other because they were, two multiverses existing next to each other but alternate timelines, that would be amazing. We could have a moment of Quicksilver seeing, Barry running through the Speed Force,
He's like, who the fuck was that?
Barry's running along, or Quicksilver's just running along, and he sees the Scarlet Streak go, whew, and he's like... Okay, that would be fantastic.
And you could get, some of the most undercredited things. I have a blog I write on from time to time, and some of the most undercredited things has been DC Elseworlds stuff.
Elseworlds are fantastic.
Elseworlds are great. This one just became a movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to go see it. Yeah, Gotham by Gaslight is
Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah, isn't that what I said?
No, you said Gotham.
I said Gotham?
Yeah. I'm just gonna, So apparently Gotham by Gaslight.
Gotham.
No. Gotham.
But, you could have crazy stuff like that. Like, there's an Elseworld storyline where, that was written by Stan Lee that had a Wolverine Batman in it. You know what I'm talking about?
That was Amalgam.
What was it?
It was called Amalgam.
What's that?
It's whenever the DC and Marvel universes collided together.
Okay, so you can have those type of things.
Yeah, in the 90s, I think it was the 90s, they had the huge DC Marvel war where they actually fought against each other because their universes were colliding. And then they had the Amalgam comics, which was like Lobo the Duck, Batclaw, it was Captain America and Superman were merged together, and so on and so forth. There's actually like this huge list. Let's see. Amalgam Comics. Okay, there we go. Amalgam Comics was a publishing imprint shared by DC and Marvel Comics, in which the two comic publishers merged their characters into one. Okay. So we had, let's see, Amazon. It was Wonder Woman and Storm. Assassins, which these are the comic book series. Okay. The Big Question, which was Kingpin and Riddler. We had Cat's Eye, which was Catwoman, Elektra. Dare the Terminator, Deathstroke, and Daredevil. J. Jonah White, Perry White, and J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, God.
Oh man, Jimmy Ulrich, Jimmy Olsen, and Ben Ulrich. Urich. Terra X, Terra and Terra X. That's Marvel's and DC's characters. Winter Stick, Wintergreen, and Stick. Interesting. Wired, Nathan Chase, Manhunter, not Martian Manhunter, but Manhunter, and Cable. Doctor Strange Fate, The Abomination, Hell Gramonite, and Abomination, Jade Nova, Green Lantern's Kyle Rayner, and Jade, and Marvel's Nova.
Who's Marvel's Aquaman? What's his name again?
Namor.
Namor. Okay.
Yeah. Minx, which was Mr. Mixapilix, and Marvel's Wong, which Wong is from Doctor Strange. White Witch, which is Zatanna and Scarlet Witch. Skulk, which is Bruce Banner, of course. Solomon Grundy and the Hulk. The JLX, Angel Hawk, which is Hawkman and Angel. Apollo, which is DC's Ray and Cyclops. That's an interesting mix. That's pretty cool. Aquamariner, Aquaman and Submariner, Namor and Arthur Curry. Namor, Mackenzie, and Arthur Curry. Blackbird, which is Black Canary and Mockingbird. Captain Marvel, which is Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, right?
Well, like,
there is, hold on a minute, there is this huge list of characters. I mean, it went on for, let's see, 97 was the last year. It went on for a whole year. So, I mean, we're talking JXL, which was the Justice League, basically. The Legend of Darkclaw, which is Huntress and Carol Danvers.
I've always loved Hunters.
The Hyena. Here we go. Here's an interesting one. Creed H. Quinn. The Joker. And Sabretooth. Sparrow, Jubilation Lee, was Tim Drake Robbins and Jubilee. Super Soldier, which was another one. Super Soldiers is the version of Clark Kent is a human who takes the Super Soldier serum containing alien DNA. Green Skull, Lex Luthor and Red Skull.
I know that one.
Yeah, Ultra Metallo and Sleeper, and Marvel's first Sleeper.
Okay. Who's Marvel's first sleeper? I thought Cap was the first sleeper, or is Bucky?
Let me see.
Have you seen Black Panther yet?
I have not. There's no real thing on there. Then we had Bruce Wayne, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Interesting.
Wait, Agents... Oh, okay.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Bullets and bracelets. This looks like a lot of... This looks like a lot of, like, you know, Black Panther's been Bronze Tiger, Big Berta, and Tatiana, Steve Trevor, and the Punisher. There's a bunch of other things. This looks like most of the New Gods, and a lot of, like, Amazonian and stuff like that in there. Magneto, the Magnetic Men. So, Speed Demons, here we go. Arrowcaster, Speedy, and Marvel's Nightcaster, the Blob, Kid Demon. I mean, it's a lot of just all these characters slapped together, bad guys and good guys, and so on and so forth. Spider-Boy here's really cool. It's Spider-Man and Superboy. Bizarnage, which is Bizarro and Carnage.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Spider-Clone is DC's Bizarro and Ben Reilly, which, if you guys remember anything from the whole Clone Saga of Spider-Man, which we don't want to remember, but that was a long period. Ben Reilly was Spider-Man for a little. I think he was Scarlet Spider for a little while. Let's see. X-Patrol. Bat Thing. which was Man Bat, Kurt Langston, and Man Thing, Ted Stalls, Clark Bullock. Dark Claw Adventures, Talia Ghul and Lady Deathstrike. Raja Ghul and Apocalypse is a character. THX 1138, George Lucas's first film, is referenced.
Oh, this is random. But and I know you haven't read
Lobo the Duck. There it is. Lobo the Duck. It's Lobo and Howard the Duck smashed into one character.
I know you haven't read Doomsday Clock.
Not yet.
But what they are doing with what's his face? The Marionette and who's the Joker? He's like a mime and he has like an invisible gun. He's from the Watchmen universe.
Okay.
Oh my god, it's so good. Like they come to the DC universe, the Watchmen people do, and the Marionette and her sidekick, let me get his name. I think it's okay, he's known as the Mime. The Mime and the Marionette stumble into this bar and everyone's like, get out of here, this is the Joker's territory. And there's this scary scene where the Marionette, who literally just has one of those marionette strings, kills everyone, and so does the Mime, who has like a mime gun.
Okay.
And they're just like, who the fuck is this Joker guy? Let's go find him and beat him up. And it's just like,
Welcome to
oh
Base
my god,
Ranger.
like Harley Quinn and Joker versus the Mime and Marionette, and I am so excited.
Interesting.
And then, I don't know how this is possible, but I don't want to spoil it, but can I say it?
It's fine.
The fucking so Adrian and this black Rorschach, we don't know who took up the Rorschach mantle, but there's another Rorschach, come with the Marionette and the Mime.
Okay.
To try and get Dr. Manhattan back. And Rorschach goes to find Batman, and Adrian goes to find Lex Luthor. Batman throws Rorschach in Arkham.
Yeah.
Understandable. And then the last panel is just the classic Batman running down the Arkham hallway because he's got to figure something out. And then Adrian meets up with Lex Luthor, and he's like, "I'm the smartest man on my earth." And Lex Luthor's like, "Ha! I'm the smartest man here." And he goes, "Clear." And Adrian's like, "Clearly not, because you're not accepting there's other worlds." And out of nowhere, the fucking comedian comes out and shoots Lex Luthor.
Holy shit.
Now, how's the comedian alive? And if he's alive, that means that DC is literally doing this to Alan Moore in that entire thing. If he lived that falling. Or did Dr. Manhattan warp him out of time as he was falling and put him right back? He's almost in an altered carbon trauma loop. I don't know.
I was gonna say Manhattan probably pulled him out of time.
Can he duplicate him? I don't know.
He's Dr. Manhattan, of course he can.
I don't know. But it hurts my head.
When's the next issue come out?
It's monthly.
It's monthly?
It's going to take 13 months because after issue 6, they're taking a 1-month break. They're totally Game of Thronesing us. Like, they're taking that exact model of just slow, tedious releasing. But it comes out, it's probably going to actually come out, I know it's coming up soon. It'll probably come out this coming Wednesday, number 4.
Okay.
That's how they've been doing it. It's monthly, and there's going to be a month break in the middle. But, I mean, like, if you guys are catching up on Rebirth, I'd jump straight to, like, the Watchmen crossover, because it's not too revealing to the other storylines. There's not too many tie-ins and stuff. Oh, and the other thing is, Superman is being psychologically fucked with. He keeps having nightmares. He keeps waking up floating with nightmares. And, like, it's just his family, and then them getting, like, that Rorschach deatomatized blue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he had, like, this epiphany of, his parents dying the night of his prom night in a car crash, and, like, he's having all these nightmares. And there's a scene where he wakes up, and Lois actually wakes up, and she sees her husband sweating balls and floating in the air. And she wakes him up, and he's like, I just had a nightmare. And then she's like, oh, well, it happens to everyone. And he's like, I've never had a nightmare.
Oh.
Ends. And she's like,
Interesting.
it's good. It's good.
My plan is, I finally found my tablet. So I'm going to try to grind out some issues on my tablet here soon. But I got to get the program back up and running and link to the store. And go from there. So I plan on reading up before we film the next one of these. So that way we know what the hell we're talking about next week.
26 days from now. Or, no, that's completely off. May 25th. I'm in a completely wrong month. Marks 2 years of Rebirth.
Yep.
And I think May 26th, that will coincide with the halfway point of the Watchmen clock, or Doomsday clock.
Doomsday clock, and that's when they're going to take the break for a month?
Yep.
Okay, which makes sense.
Which makes sense. I mean, you gotta get people... But it's hard, because the thing that sucks is comic books are not that thick, alright? You read it in 20 minutes, and then you keep rereading them, and you're like, oh, I want more. Like, it's not even like a 2-hour Game of Thrones episode. At least you get 2 hours, right?
No. The more you read a comic book, the faster you can devour them.
Yeah, so it's 15 minutes for me now, and then, you know, I reread it 3 times, and I'm just like, I fall asleep thinking about Doomsday Clock.
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. That's why I usually wait a couple issues. Like, I need to get caught back up on The Walking Dead. I'm at least 15 issues behind. So that'll give me at least a couple days of reading. And it's so good. I know a lot of people don't like it, but the comics are really good. I enjoy them. I like them better than the show. The show. I can't believe they killed frickin' Carl.
They killed Carl?
Yeah.
Oh. I love when shows are nonchalant about this. Another terrible show. Arrow. Yeah, guys, we nuked the city.
We nuked the city.
Green Arrow killed, like, 3 dozen people in the first season. You know...
It's not a big deal. It's whatever. Let's overlook all that.
What you follow this so much more than I do. DC TV universe.
That's because
referencing Batman. What is that?
Well, it was from what I understand, it was like a one-time reference because they were trying to oust. Not that I've heard of.
I watched like a 3-minute YouTube video that had a lot.
Really?
It had a ton. It had like at least 10.
Well, I mean.
There's one where they're just like, yeah, guy for 20 years, yeah, he's weird. Like, yeah, it's like.
Well, I mean, there's no reason for not having Batman in that universe.
But I thought you can't see a TV Batman.
You don't see him. He's talked about, though.
Will you see him the way that we saw Superman?
I absolutely loved Superman and Supergirl.
Do you like the Superman?
Fantastic. Oh, the one that they showed in the Supergirl series?
Yeah.
Oh, I love him. He's fantastic. Tyler something. I don't remember what his name is exactly, but he was excellent. He was perky. He was happy. He was disgustingly nice. And when him and Kara got together, it was like vomiting rainbows and sunshine. So disgustingly awesome. Okay? There's a part where they're stopping robbers in one of the episodes from stealing, getting away. And she stops, stomps in front of the car and stops it, and they get out, and one of them pulls out their gun and starts shooting, and the bullets bounce off, and he throws the gun, and the guy punches him, and he's like, now, the bullets didn't work. This is what Superman's saying to them, right? Like, the bullets didn't work. What says that punching me would? And then he looks over at Kara and says, I never understood that. And she's like, I didn't either. I don't either. But it's that moment of him looking at this robber going, now, the bullets didn't work.
Let's talk about that.
I want you to use your brain for a second here. If the bullets didn't work, what says punching me would?
So does he just show up as, like, every couple episodes? It's like a special?
Well... Okay, so in season 2, he showed up for like the first two episodes, if I remember correctly, 2 or 3 episodes, and then he showed up near the end to help Kara out fight against the Daxamites. Season 3, we haven't seen him. We've heard about him, we've heard from him, but we actually haven't seen him yet. And that's not saying he won't show up. It's just this show is about Supergirl, not Superman. So they're keeping him at a distance and as a background character as much as possible. And I like that. I appreciate that. Would I love to see a Superman TV show with that actor in it? Fuck yeah, I would be all over that. Are you kidding me? That would be amazing. But am I gonna get upset if they just have him periodically show up? No, I'd love it. It would be even better because I'm enjoying what they did with Supergirl.
And like, yeah, I can see that. I've fallen behind on this DC TV stuff, but I mean, from what I saw of Flash, I liked it. I got bored with, and this is just because I'm a comic book reader, I'm extremely tired of the Flashpoint, and I'm already dealing with it again in Rebirth. I'm just so tired of seeing that. I love Thomas Wayne, I love Martha Wayne, I love all the product of Flashpoint, but it's like I'm so tired of seeing it.
Well, see,
tired of Barry Allen trying to go back and save them all. Like,
the Flashpoint is a pinnacle part of this story is because it's what caused New 52 to happen. And all of this to happen. If he hadn't messed with it, this would have never happened. So of course they're going to come back to it, reference it, and talk about it because it is the point where everything changed.
Yeah, just like so there was the DC animated film of the Flashpoint,
which was really good.
Which was phenomenal. There was the Flashpoint, which was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. There was the CW Flashpoint,
which was good.
Yeah, and the DC Rebirth, they did the Flashpoint enough. They didn't go back. You have to be a bit of a nerd. You have to know what the Flashpoint is. You have to have done your reading. They didn't carry you through, and they didn't make us reread it, which I love. And they just brought us to the meat and potatoes of that. We got to see Thomas Wayne and Bruce Wayne fight side by side, which was the coolest thing ever.
Yes.
And no, I don't think he's alive.
I think he is.
Honestly, you know what they should do with it? Because we never really get to see enough. Like, we know Martha Wayne becomes the Joker.
Yep.
We never get to see how messed up that universe is. And I'm really hoping what they do 10 years from now or whatever is they pull, like, a Before Watchmen. Like, there's, like, those Before Watchmen trades of Before Watchmen.
Okay.
There's, like, they came out with these things.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Like, this is the comedian and Rorschach.
Yeah, it tells their story of everything that happened before the story, the main story.
I hope they do something like that with the Flashpoint, so you can read about Thomas Wayne hunting down his wife.
Oh, okay. You want to see that whole universe explored more.
I want to explore that universe. I want to see what Martha Wayne as the Joker is like.
Flashpoint. I think they did.
Really?
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, they did. Yeah. There was a couple of issues.
Okay, well.
Was a limited series published by DC. It ran from 2011 until 2011. It starred Batman. It's Night of Vengeance 1, 2, and 3, I believe.
That's also a movie. The 2011 movie that has a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. What's it about? A veteran prostitute and a rookie hooker are in for a nightmarish night after a trick turns horribly wrong.
Wait a minute. What?
That's what Night of Vengeance is.
Hold on, we must research.
What?
Wow, X. Night of Vengeance. A veteran prostitute, Vivia Bianca, and a rookie hooker, Hannah Monaghan Lawrence, are in for one nightmarish night after a trick turns horribly wrong. I said we would watch this and do a review of it next episode.
For science.
For science.
Let's do it. I'm bookmarking this Flashpoint Batman Night of Vengeance spot. Oh, it's K, not N. That's my issue.
Yeah. What is this movie rated?
How's it have a 70?
Apparently it's got some pretty good. It's not rated.
But it has a 70 on
On on Rotten Tomatoes.
one of like the most hardest like.
Wow. Okay.
This movie looks terrible.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, now this is gonna make me mad. Oh, never mind. Okay, good. I was gonna say, if that has a higher score than The Big Lebowski, I'm gonna be mad. The Big Lebowski has an 81.
Okay, good.
Big Lebowski is. Did I show you this?
Yeah, you showed me the dude.
No. Did I show you? I didn't get the dude. I wish I had the dude. Julia got me the framed film score.
That's
And
pretty
Him
awesome.
and Maud and his little psyched up. You remember the Bob Dylan thing?
Yeah, I remember.
Bob Dylan, to see what condition. Great fucking. All right. Well, next episode we'll talk about Rebirth, and we will give X Night of Vengeance a review.
X
Night
Night of Vengeance.
We should do one of those sword watching streams.
You can't really do them, but I would. I'd love to do those.
You can't, can you? But who's coming after this movie?
Somebody will. Somebody inevitably will. Plus, I think it has enough nudity in there that I couldn't stream it.
Does it have nudity?
It's about prostitutes.
Okay, yeah, it probably does. Hey, you know what? There are some corny flicks out there, man.
That's very, very true.
Funny.
X Night of Vengeance.
Okay, the poster on Amazon is $1.99.
For X Night of Vengeance?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. You can watch it on Prime for $1.99.
Really?
And Boss the Clown is the first recommended thing. This is fucking up 2017.
Vengeance, Night of Champions. What the hell is... Oh, it's a wrestling thing.
It's 2 minutes. There's some Boss the Clown is a 2-minute short film on Amazon.
Oh, that's a pretty damn cool picture.
What?
Well, there's a poster that you can get for like $25, and it has the entire Bat family sitting up on perching on a gargoyle on a building, behind a gargoyle on a building, and it's got Jason leaning off facing away. It's got Red Robin, like the legit Red Robin suit, not the RR. It's got Damien sitting there looking all disgruntled, and Dick leaning against the glass. Good, yeah, let's fight. But of course, Batman's sitting there next to the gargoyle, and then it's got all the girls, Batwoman, Barbara Gordon, Stephanie, and what is her name? Cassandra Cain, all right there in their Batgirl suits. That's a pretty badass picture, actually.
There's a couple of there's some really good Batman artwork. I'm so disappointed with the way that the DCEU Batflick and all that turned out.
You know what they do need to do, right? They need to they need to go ahead and make Flash and Aquaman and one or two more continuations of the stories in the DCEU. And then they need to go ahead and stop making stop making standalones, keep making Justice League movies, and then make freaking Elseworld movies live action.
Like literally, you Google Elseworlds, apparently there's a Batman Alien crossover.
Oh god, yeah, Elseworlds are fantastic. Elseworlds. Full list of Elseworlds. Let's see.
And they don't even have to be live action.
No.
Honestly, animated movies have turned out better.
You got the Thrill Killer, the Batman and Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
You got Batman and Demon, when he's possessed by Etrigan.
Okay.
Tales of the Multiverse, Batman Vampire, Batman and Dracula, Batman Bloodstorm, Batman Crimson Mist, Those are all the vampire books. You got Batman Houdini, The Devil's Workshop, Batman Lobo, Batman the Blue, the Gray, and the Bat. That's a Civil War story. Batman the Book of the Dead. He's an archaeologist and Egyptian bat god. There's 2 episodes. Batman like Leatherwing, The Bride of Leatherwing. Batman Brotherhood of the Bat, Batman Castle of the Bat, Batman Chronicles, Batman Tarzan, Batman Dark Alliance, Batman Dark Joker of the Wild, Batman Dark Knight Dynasty. I mean, there are...
Oh, they're currently doing an Elseworld story called Batman White Knight. Have you heard about that?
Yes. I think...
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know much about that, but...
Basically, the Joker stops being a bad guy, somehow becomes a good guy, and is a politician, and he always wears a white suit, and they consider the Joker the White Knight, and they vilify Batman.
They were actually talking about making a movie out of that with Leonardo DiCaprio, Francis Ford Coppola directing it.
I want it.
Yeah. Then you have the entire Superman Elseworlds, Superman Batman Elseworlds, Justice League Elseworlds, Justice Society Elseworlds, the DCU Elseworlds. There is Green Lantern, Teen Titans, Wonder Woman, Annuals, Legion of the Dead Earth stuff, Legends of the Dead Earth stuff. There is so much source material here that they can make into movies. It's not even funny. And they choose to stick with, honestly, as much as I love the Aquaman scene in Justice League, okay, where he's sitting on the lasso of truth, because I love it, it's fantastic, you know, but it wasn't enough to save. Okay, so there's a point, spoiler alert, there's a point where they're all waiting to get there to fight off Steppenwolf, and he's Aquaman's sitting on the Batmobile, and he just starts talking about everything. He just, you know, like, we're gonna die, you know. I mean, you got no powers, you know. Yeah, it looks at Cyborg. He's probably working for the enemy. Looks at Flash and says, "You're tripping over your own feet and mine." And he looks at Wonder Woman. She's like, "And you're just gorgeous. Oh my God, you're just amazingly just gorgeous." And it's like, you know, and I don't want to, you know, if we're gonna die, we're gonna do this. We're just gonna die. I'm just like, I don't want to die, you know. And he goes into this whole rant about how, you know, he doesn't really have a good relationship with the land or the water, and he's worried about that. And they're all staring at him, and Bruce points underneath him, and he stops and he looks down and he pulls out the lasso of truth, and everybody starts chuckling at him, and he throws it at Wonder Woman and looks at Flash and says, "If you say anything, I'll make sure you meet every piranha on Earth." And it's like, that is adorable and it's awesome, and I love that scene, but it didn't save the movie. Didn't save the movie.
How they were fighting Steppenwolf?
Yeah, they were fighting Steppenwolf.
And how did it turn out?
They won. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously they won. It wasn't a Marvel movie.
That is the ending scene of Suicide Squad.
It was better than Suicide Squad.
Okay. First movie I've ever walked out of.
Yep. I don't know. But the next episode should be filmed, what? You want to try next week?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so next week we're going to try to get another one of these up and go from there. But I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and watching. You guys are awesome. On YouTube, you guys make sure you hit that like button. Throw some comments down. We want to hear your thoughts. If there's anything you think we should read or watch that you'd like to hear us review, let me know.
Hey, guess up.
Yeah, man. In one more month until baby time. What's up, camper time? So, you guys are beautiful, awesome, and I love your faces.
Peace.
Peace.